Dan, are you ready to do this?
I'm ready, man.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Already.
The fans have asked for it, and it's happening. We're redoing Brickmania TV. This is the very first episode of the second season.
Third season.
Third season.
This is the 2016. This is season 3.
Yeah. We're back in high definition.
Yep, in higher definition.
580p.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. 580p.
Sound guy, what's our definition?
9K.
4K?
All the pixels.
All the pixels.
All the pixels.
So we are now recording in all the pixels, and yeah, we have an exciting episode planned, kind of, for you today.
We didn't plan anything.
All right.
Let's
get right into it.
Right.
This is the CH.
No.
Wait.
AH-1G
Cobra.
Yes.
Yeah. Not the CH.
Yeah. Well, that's something else.
I don't know what that is.
Different company.
Different something else entirely.
So So let's get to it.
The history. Let's start with that.
Sure. Well, this is the AH-1. AH stands for attack helicopter. So the AH-1, otherwise known as the Cobra, or Huey Cobra, is an adaptation of Bell's UH-1 utility helicopter, famous from the Huey, Slicks, right? From the Vietnam War.
Cool.
So during Vietnam War, they developed the idea of air mobile, basically moving entire cavalry units by air envelopment. They go seek out the enemy, fight the battle in the choosing of where the cavalry wanted to have the battle, and then instead of capturing territory, they'd all get back in their helicopters, fly out, and after they've whooped some ass, and then they're back home safe and smoking cigars and drinking beers.
Cool.
So what happened is, it wasn't as easy as that sounds. Yeah. They'd get to landing zones. The landing zones would be contested, so they basically needed some aerial firepower. And the idea of an attack like aerial gunship was developed, or aerial artillery. Originally, they were just modified UH-1 regular Hueys, or Iroquois, and I guess they wanted something better.
Yep.
And Bell came up with
more purpose-built for the.
Yeah, this is a purpose-built attack helicopter. Originally, the Army didn't want any designs from Bell, but Bell just persevered on their own. Adapted one of their basically the tried and true components from the UH-1 and came up with this. It's a tandem seat, so the actual original Hueys were side by side, pilot co-pilot side by side. This is a much smaller profile. It's lighter.
Incredibly narrow, actually.
Yeah, the pilot actually is a guy in the back, and the guy in the front, he'd be the co-pilot gunner.
Yeah.
So he would control the weapon system. And this particular helicopter has a 40mm grenade launcher and a Gatling gun. So this is like a 7.62 machine gun, basically a 6-barrel machine gun.
They'd occasionally have different configurations of that.
Yeah, I think the original ones had two grenade launchers, and they could have 2 Gatling guns or one of each, which is this case.
Nice.
And then we have this one in particular is armed with 57mm rockets as well.
Cool.
So basically, you're looking at aerial artillery.
Yeah. So they just circle the battlefield and
so in the
covering fire,
the infantry would be on the ground. The helicopters would come in. These guys would secure the landing zone, patrol the perimeter, look for bad guys, and take out anything that they could from the air.
Yeah. How risky was that as a pilot? What was the?
I couldn't tell.
How many of these survived the war?
Well, it's funny. I was just reading up on this. So, apparently they had over 1,100 of these go to Vietnam.
Wow.
And of the 1,100 that went over to Vietnam, they lost 300 of the 1,100. So that was accidents and enemy action, which is actually a pretty. Of course, it's a high ratio of losses, but considering that these things flew intentionally into harm's way.
Like directly into it, into gunfire. Yeah,
and they're small, they're hard to hit, so they had a lot of advantages. It didn't have any armor for the incredibly, there's no armor for the guys. They opted out of armoring it to make it faster and lighter.
So they get the youngest pilots and have them go.
I don't know how they determined that. Maybe the ones with the most bravado.
Right.
But none of the helicopters that were put into landing zones in Vietnam had any armor. Today, they've learned their lesson. It's all armored cockpits, but they also have. This has a single engine. So this is the original.
Yep.
Just a single engine. They used this design. They kept the single engine ones around, but I think in the early 70s they started putting a second engine, made it more powerful. That enabled them to put more equipment on it, heavier missiles like the TOW anti-tank missiles. Plus, they were able to put armor for the bulletproof glass on it, and armor the canopies and everything.
So this really kind of paved the way for modern attack helicopters?
Yeah. So in the Army, replaced all theirs with Apaches, but the Marines kept the Cobra. This is smaller. Of course, the Cobras now are generations better than the Cobras back in the 1960s and 70s. Cool. So.
And for the kit itself, why don't you go over some features? Sure.
Well, this is pretty cool. I mean, the original one, the prototype I did was all gray, and it matched our other helicopters. But as I was researching the Cobra, I found that the early ones, particularly, they had a little bit more imagination with camouflaging them. I think what happened is the original guys rotated out, helicopters changed hands, or new ones came in, they got less and less enthusiastic about decorating them, or else they just paint their logos on them because they'd have to hand them off to the next guys. But anyway, I found this camouflage version. This is done in the cavalry, the air cavalry colors. Basically, you have this pennant here that is not the Indonesian flag. Well, it is the Indonesian flag, but in this instance, it's a cavalry.
It represents the cavalry.
So we put on the shark mouth on it. This is everything on here was actually taken off of an actual helicopter. This whole color scheme, everything. We have two guys in here, which Lando created. We'll maybe do a close-up if we can do the magic of television on here. Ooh. But you can see they have the air cav patches on their sleeve. Special Lego version of it. Anyway.
It's got I replaced actually a previous employee replaced the horse head.
But at first
it's got a Lego horse head.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then they're actually, the two pilots have different name tapes on them, right?
Yep.
So
Nelson and Esquite from our shipping department.
Yeah, our customer service team are represented in this particular
I snuck
model.
that on there, and they were pretty happy about that.
Yeah, so there's some cool printed elements. We have new printed elements. The guns, the smaller of the rocket pods we've seen before, just in a different color. But this here is another printed. Was it 21?
Oh man!
I think it's either 19 or 21 rockets. There's a lot, but those are new printed tiles. Everything else are nice heavy-duty vinyl stickers. Of course, the guys are printed, and these are brand new pilots that you made just for this, right?
Yep, just for this set.
So these are Vietnam-era authentic
Cobra Pilots. They're in their two-piece flight suits made out of Nomex. That was kind of an early material at the time.
Fire retardant, fireproof material.
All leather boots. They like the leather boots over the jungle boots. So it wouldn't melt to their skin.
And then we have some other printing. There's printed cockpit and everything like that. So there's some cool features. We only made 100 of these, and we made 100 of these. And boy, was production not happy with the parts selection on this, because some of these parts are super hard to get. Not particularly easy to find. And so we'll have these out. It's kind of a feat that have these in time.
That turned out great.
And I just did the instruction book. I've been working on it for days now. 60-something pages of instructions.
Wow.
So
that's pretty intense for a helicopter. Or?
It's most of our.
I'm not involved with the instruction.
An instruction book is usually for a model of this is what 300, 400 pieces. A model of this size would have an instruction book, probably 30 pages. But it's such a big model. It's like area-wise spread out. It took a lot. Plus, there's lots of little details. We want to make sure it's easy for everybody to pick up on the little details. Don't do too many.
Speaking of picking up, is this thing swooshable?
Of course it's swooshable. Yeah, this is sturdy. So it's super skinny. You can see how skinny this thing is. But it is super sturdy. I mean, you could swoosh it. You could beat somebody to death. Well, maybe you can't. But
I was trying to pull the tail off of that.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
Like you might break the helicopter trying to take it apart.
Yeah, you're not gonna. It's not gonna come apart. So if you're tired of flimsy bat copters and things that just go break in the night, you want to get a Brickmania kit. Yeah,
cool,
sturdy like everything else we do. So
awesome. Well, that is the episode of an all-new season of Brickmania TV.
Season 3, can you believe it? Season 3. So we got some cool stuff. This is week 2 of the Vietnam month, right? So what is our hashtag promotion?
Lego Nam.
Lego Nam, hashtag Lego Nam. And you may win something if you use it appropriately on social media.
That's right. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share us on your Facebook or whatever.
And make sure you mark your calendar for World War Brick, second weekend of February, Anaheim, California. WorldWarBrick.com is a place to get information on it. We will be there showing off our latest wares, having all kinds of activities, group builds, games, tournaments. Yeah. if you want to meet the Brickmania team in person, that's the place to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for watching.